While history often associates wars with men, many women have played significant roles in famous battles. Whether as soldiers, leaders, or even spies, women have proven their ability to influence the course of wars throughout history. From the ancient world to modern times, their contributions have often been underappreciated or overlooked. In ancient times, women like Queen Artemisia I of Caria commanded ships in naval battles alongside Persian forces. Similarly, Boudica, the queen of the Iceni tribe, led a major uprising against the occupying Roman forces in Britain. Despite the Roman Empire's overwhelming power, her leadership remains a symbol of resistance and courage. During the Middle Ages, Joan of Arc's name stands out as a legendary example. Believing she was divinely inspired, this peasant girl led French troops to pivotal victories during the Hundred Years' War, notably lifting the siege of Orleans. Her military acumen and unwavering faith turned her into a national heroine and eventually a saint. The role of women in wars evolved significantly during the 20th century. During World War I and World War II, women took on various roles from nurses caring for the wounded on the front lines to codebreakers analyzing enemy communications. The Night Witches, a Soviet all-female bomber regiment during World War II, carried out their daring missions under the cover of darkness and became a terror to their enemies. Similarly, the stories of women like Mata Hari, who operated as spies, demonstrated that intelligence and courage were as crucial to victory as brute strength. In modern conflicts, women have continued to leave their mark. Female soldiers and officers serve in various capacities, from frontline combat to strategic planning roles. Their presence underscores the changing nature of warfare and the growing recognition of women's abilities in traditionally male-dominated spheres. Despite their contributions, the stories of these brave women are often relegated to the background. Recognizing their roles and acknowledging their sacrifices is essential in understanding the comprehensive history of warfare. Women have not only contributed to the physical fighting, but have demonstrated extraordinary strategic, medical, and intelligence capabilities. As society progresses, it is crucial to look back at these historical contributions to appreciate and learn from the diverse experiences and perspectives women have brought to the wars. In the heart of the Hundred Years' War, there arose an extraordinary figure, a young maiden named Joan of Arc born in 1412 in the small village of Domremy. Joan came from a humble peasant family. Yet, her destiny was far from ordinary. From an early age, she claimed to hear divine voices, guiding her to support King Charles VII and liberate France from English domination. At the age of 17, Joan convinced the skeptical Charles VII to allow her to lead a military force to the besieged city of Orleans. Dressed in white armor and bearing a banner inscribed with Jesus and Mary, she infused the demoralized French troops with a renewed sense of purpose. With fierce determination and unshakable faith, she led her soldiers in a series of daring attacks that broke the English siege in May 1429. Her success did not stop at Orleans. Her presence on the battlefield became a symbol of hope and divine favor for the French cause. Joan's leadership and victories bolstered the morale of the French troops and led to several crucial successes, including the coronation of Charles VII in Reims. However, Joan's journey was not without peril. In 1430, she was captured by Burgundian forces allied with the English and handed over to the English. Accused of heresy and witchcraft, she faced a harrowing trial. Despite her composed defense, Joan was convicted and sentenced to death. On May 30th, 1431, she was burned at the stake in Rouen, maintaining her unwavering faith until the very end. Joan of Arc's martyrdom only strengthened her legend. Decades later, in 1456, a posthumous retrial declared her innocent, and in 1920, she was canonized as a saint by the Catholic Church. Today, Joan of Arc is remembered not just as a formidable warrior, but as a symbol of courage, faith, and resilience. Her story continues to inspire countless individuals around the world, a testament to the power of conviction and the extraordinary heights achievable through unwavering determination. In the 1st century AD, the Roman Empire's iron grip over Britain was almost absolute. But in the east of the Isle, among the tranquil fields and dense forests of the Iceni tribe, a storm was brewing. Queen Boudica, a tall woman with fiery red hair and fierce eyes, was determined to free her people from Roman oppression. The Romans had stripped Boudica and her daughters of their inheritance and subjected them to humiliation. The breaking point had arrived. Boudica called upon neighboring tribes who shared her grievances. She spoke with a fire that ignited the hearts and minds of warriors. Her message was clear: fight for freedom, for honor, for the future of their children. United under her leadership, an army was formed, fierce and resolute. The clanging of armor and the sharpening of swords echoed through the forest, a prelude to the storm ahead. The first target was Camulodunum, a Roman colonia and symbol of oppression. Boudica's army descended upon the city with a fury that seemed unstoppable. The Roman defenses crumbled under the sheer force of the Iceni warriors. Buildings burned, and the streets ran red. For Boudica, it was more than a victory. It was a message to Rome itself. Next, they marched on Londinium. The governor Suetonius Paulinus had anticipated the attack but lacked the forces to defend it. He chose to abandon Londinium, leaving it to the vengeful hands of Boudica's forces. Once again, the city was razed, its people slain or scattered. The Roman heartland of Britain felt the sting of rebellion as Boudica's legend grew. The final decisive battle took place at the Battle of Watling Street. Suetonius had regrouped and prepared a well-fortified position. Boudica's army, although larger, lacked the discipline and strategic acumen of the Roman legions. The clash was fierce, but the Romans held their ground, and ultimately, Boudica's forces were decimated. The rebel queen, unwilling to be captured, took her own life. Her end was tragic, but her legacy endured. Queen Boudica became a symbol of resistance and the undying spirit of freedom. Her story was told and retold, a testament to the fierce resilience of a queen who dared to stand against one of the mightiest empires that ever existed. She remained a legendary figure, inspiring generations to rise against tyranny and fight for their beliefs. Tomo Gozen stood atop the hill, her eyes scanning the battlefield below. Her presence was commanding, her armor gleaming in the waning light. She was not just any samurai. She was a symbol of valor and strength, a female warrior whose name inspired both loyalty and fear. Tomo had honed her skills from a young age, mastering the katana with an elegance that belied its lethal purpose. Stories of her prowess traveled far and wide, whispering of a warrior who could slay countless foes with a single stroke. But those tales, however glorious, only brushed the surface of her true grit. Her journey had been a crucible, molded by relentless training, fierce battles, and the harsh judgment of a male-dominated society. Today, she was leading an army against the forces of a rival clan. The wind carried the distant sounds of clashing steel and the fierce cries of battle. She raised her sword, and with a resolute cry, led her men into the fray. As her blade met the enemy, it sang a deadly song, each strike a testament to her skills. Her movements were fluid, almost dance-like, each maneuver calculated and precise. She was a whirlwind of steel and fury, her presence galvanizing her troops. Even the most seasoned warriors found themselves in awe of her poise and ferocity. One by one, her enemies fell, and the tide of the battle began to turn. But amidst the chaos, Tomo's thoughts were not of glory or conquest. She fought for honor, for her clan, and for the countless women who saw in her a beacon of possibility. Her legacy was being written in the blood and sweat of this very moment, her path etched into the annals of history. The battle raged on, and as the sun dipped below the horizon, victory was within reach. Tomo stood tall, her armor splattered with the marks of war, her sword shining with the light of the setting sun. She was not just a warrior. She was a legend in the making, an unyielding figure whose spirit would echo through the ages. Her name, Tomo Gozen, resonated as a symbol of strength, honor, and undying resolve. Mulan is a legendary figure from ancient Chinese folklore, known for her courage and selfless sacrifice. According to the legend, Mulan's father was too old and frail to serve in the Chinese army, and her brother was too young. With no other choice, Mulan took it upon herself to disguise as a man and join the army in her father's stead. She cut her long hair, donned the armor, and adopted the name Hua Jun to hide her true identity. Mulan trained rigorously and fought bravely, earning the respect and admiration of her fellow soldiers. She faced many challenges, from grueling battles to the constant threat of her true identity being discovered. Despite the odds, she demonstrated remarkable prowess in combat and strategic thinking, often leading her battalion to victory. Her strength, intelligence, and unwavering spirit made her an invaluable asset to the army. After numerous victories, the war finally ended, and the emperor offered to reward Mulan for her service. She humbly declined any form of reward and asked only to return to her family. It was only after returning home and resuming her life as a woman that her fellow soldiers discovered her true identity. They were astounded to learn that the brave warrior they had fought alongside was, in fact, a woman. Mulan's story spread far and wide, becoming a symbol of bravery, loyalty, and the breaking of gender norms. Her legend continues to inspire countless generations, reminding us that true heroism knows no bounds. In the shadowy cove of Monte Muro, Elena Rossi stood on the deck of her ship, the Tempest. With her piercing blue eyes scanning the horizon, she embodied the spirit of an unyielding warrior. As one of the most feared pirates in the Mediterranean, Elena had carved out a name for herself in the ruthless world of 18th century piracy. Growing up among sailors and smugglers, she learned the art of navigation, combat, and the strategic complexities of maritime warfare from a young age. Her father, a former naval officer turned pirate, had taught her to wield a cutlass and command respect. Her reputation was not merely built on tales of brutality, but on stories of intelligence and charisma. Facing down Spanish galleons and British brigantines, she led her crew through storms and skirmishes, always emerging with treasure and tales of daring exploits. Most of her enemies underestimated her, but Elena used this to her advantage. She was known for her surprise attacks and intricate plans that often left her adversaries baffled. One such instance was the Battle of Santa Lucia. Elena had received intelligence about a British naval fleet carrying gold and supplies to their colonies. Disguising the Tempest as a harmless merchant ship, Elena approached under the cover of night. As dawn broke, the British ships found themselves ambushed, their gold plundered, and their pride shattered. But Elena's life was not solely defined by her victories. She deeply cared for her crew, treating them as family. Her leadership style was inclusive. She welcomed sailors from diverse backgrounds, offering second chances to those society had cast aside. In return, her crew's loyalty was unwavering. They would follow her into the fiercest battles, confident in her ability to lead them to glory. Despite the chaotic life of piracy, Elena dreamed of a day when she could leave the tumultuous seas behind and live out her days in peace. Yet, she knew that peace was elusive for someone like her. Her legend grew with every conquest, and so did the bounty on her head. Still, Elena sailed on, the spirit of the tempest embodied in her fearless pursuit of freedom and fortune. Khawla bint Al-Azwar walked through the sands of history, her name echoing through the annals of early Islamic battles. Not just a formidable warrior, Khawla was a symbol of courage, resilience, and unwavering faith. She was born into a noble family, her father a respected leader and her brother, Dirar, a celebrated warrior. Throughout her early years, she was fascinated by the art of combat and often trained in secret, mastering the techniques that would later make her legendary. Khawla's first taste of the battlefield came during the Battle of Ajnadain in 634 AD. Disguised as a man to fight alongside her captured brother, she donned a green turban and a black cloak. Her skill with the spear and sword was unmatched, and her ferocity left enemies and allies alike in awe. Her true identity was revealed only after she had played a crucial role in turning the tide of the battle. General Khalid ibn al-Walid himself praised her, and she stayed by his side in subsequent campaigns. In one of the most harrowing instances, during the Battle of Yarmouk, Khawla's exceptional bravery was once again on display. As the Byzantine forces threatened to overwhelm the Muslim army, she leaped into the fray, rallying the troops with her indomitable spirit. Her strength and determination served as a catalyst, inspiring warriors around her to fight with renewed vigor. Khawla's legacy as one of the few female commanders in military history was cemented through stories of her valor. Tales of her riding into battle on a steed named Al-Sabah, leading charges, and strategically outmaneuvering foes became legendary. Her leadership was not only defined by her prowess, but also by her ability to instill courage in her fellow soldiers. She was known to have said, "Bravery resides in the heart, not the arm," a mantra that became the ethos of many Muslim warriors. Her contributions extended beyond the battlefield. She was a learned woman, versed in poetry and Islamic teachings, often using her knowledge to educate and inspire others. Khawla bint Al-Azwar's story is a testament to the impact one individual can have on history. Her life remains a powerful reminder of the strength of the human spirit when driven by faith and purpose. Even centuries later, she continues to be an enduring symbol of female heroism in the Islamic world. Freydis Eiriksdottir, the fierce Viking shield maiden, stood at the edge of her ship, her eyes scanning the horizon for any sign of land. The salty sea air whipped her hair around her face, and she tightened her grip on the hilt of her sword. Freydis was a woman of formidable courage, known for her prowess in battle and her indomitable spirit. Born into a world where survival depended on strength and cunning, she never shied away from a fight. Her father, Eric the Red, had founded the first Norse settlement in Greenland, and her brother, Leif Erikson, was a famed explorer. But Freydis sought to carve out her own legacy, one that would be remembered in the sagas of her people. As the ship approached the coast of Vinland, Freydis knew that danger lay ahead. The native Skraelings had proven to be formidable opponents, and previous attempts to establish a settlement had been thwarted by their relentless attacks. But Freydis had a plan. She gathered her warriors on the deck of the ship and addressed them with a voice that brooked no argument. "We are not here to be pushed back into the sea," she declared. "We are here to claim this land as our own. The Skraelings may be fierce, but we are fiercer. Let them come. We will send them back to their gods." The men cheered, their spirits lifted by her words. They knew that with Freydis leading them, they had a chance of victory. As the sun set and night fell, the Vikings set up camp on the shore, their fires burning brightly against the encroaching darkness. Freydis moved among her warriors, offering words of encouragement and sharpening her sword. Her presence was a beacon of strength and resolve. When the Skraelings attacked at dawn, they found themselves facing a wall of determined Vikings. Led by the fiercest shield maiden of them all, Freydis fought with a fury that seemed almost otherworldly. her sword flashing in the early morning light. Her battle cries echoed across the battlefield, a testament to her unyielding will. The fight was brutal and bloody, but the Vikings, inspired by Freydis' leadership, held their ground. By noon, the Skraelings had retreated, leaving the shore littered with their fallen warriors. Victory belonged to Freydis and her men. As she stood amidst the aftermath of the battle, Freydis knew that her name would be remembered. She had proven herself not just as a fighter, but as a leader who could rally her people to achieve the impossible. Her legacy was secure, etched into the annals of Viking history, a testament to the strength and courage of a true shield maiden.